Hello everybody. Today we are doing a quick refresher on scientific method, and it's called a refresher because at this point most of you are juniors, which means you've seen scientific method over and over again, I'm sure throughout high school. So we're just going to review it, and the reason we review it is because it will be on your ACT. So all juniors will be taking the ACT in February, which seems like it might be a way off, but it will be here before you know it. And so it's really important just to review these basic concepts. So I'm going to show you how to do this assignment. I'm going to do some examples with you, and then you guys will do some independently. So when you open this up, of course, it will force you to make a copy, so you don't have to worry about it. You'll already have your copy made. And then there are two sections. So section 1, I'm going to do with you guys right here. There's just 4 questions, and then you guys will do questions 5 through 9 on your own, okay? So the whole point of this is just to be able to read through an experiment, identify the important variables, and also be able to go through the steps of the scientific method. So let's read this first one together and then answer these 4 questions. So it says Smithers, and this is from a Simpsons scientific method station, so they're going to be the characters from The Simpsons. Smithers thinks that a special juice will increase the productivity of workers. He creates 2 groups of 50 workers each and assigns each group the same task. In this case, they're supposed to staple a set of papers. And I will say that's really important because remember, in any kind of experiment, you can only test one variable at a time because you want to make sure that whatever results you're getting is because of the single variable. So in this case, Smithers is going to be testing the juice, so he wants to make sure all other variables are the same. Group A is given the special juice to drink while they work. Group B is not given the special juice. After an hour, Smithers counts how many stacks of paper each group has made. So Group A made 1587 and Group B made 2113. So we need to identify the control group here. So remember, the control group is the group that would be like under normal circumstances. So if left alone in the natural environment, this would be what you would normally find. So normal conditions. And control groups are really important because without a control group, you have nothing to compare your results to. So without a control group, you can't even compare your results of the experiment to draw conclusions. So here, the control group is going to be Group B. So the group without the juice. And this is because on a normal day-to-day basis, these workers don't have this special juice. So this is what they would be like under normal conditions. Number 2 is the independent variable. Remember, think of independent variable as the thing that I change. It's going to be your experimental variable, the thing that you're trying to get results about, right? So in this particular case, Smithers is the scientist here, and he is manipulating the juice. So the juice is the experimental variable. So our independent variable is going to be the special juice. Okay? So the special juice will be our independent variable. That's the thing we're changing. It's the experimental variable that we're applying to the situation. Number 3 is the dependent variable. So remember, dependent variable depends on the independent variable. The easiest way to think about it in an experiment is that the dependent variable is what you measure. So what is the results that you're measuring of the experiment? Well, in this one, Smithers wants to see how productive that his workers become with the special juice. So we could say here that the dependent variable would be the productivity of the workers. And that's a generalization. You could also say something like how many staples or how many papers get stapled in the hour to be more specific, but overall what you're measuring is the productivity of the workers, okay? And number 4, what should Smithers' conclusion be? Remember, anytime we are looking at an experiment, we want to make sure that our conclusion lines up with our results. So the conclusion has to be supported by the data. It can't be whatever you want it to be. It has to be supported by the data in the experiment. So if we go back, Group A was our experimental group with the juice, and they made 1,587 stacks. Group B which didn't get any juice, made 2,113 stacks. So remember, Smithers wanted to see if the juice would increase productivity, and that definitely didn't happen because the group that got the juice actually made less stacks of paper than the group that didn't get the juice. So we would say our conclusion is the special juice does not increase the productivity of the workers. And typically you would want to defend this using your results, right? So we would say this is demonstrated by the fact that the experimental group A produced less stapled papers than group B, the control group. Okay, so we would state our conclusion and then we would support it with the data from the experiment. Okay, so again, this is a refresher because on your ACT as a junior, there will be scientific method. A lot of times there will be questions where you need to be able to identify independent and dependent variable. Sometimes you might have to identify a control group or an experimental group. So we just need to make sure we are refreshed on this, okay? So that's the first 4 done for you. And then you guys are gonna do 5 through 9. So same exact process. You're gonna read the experiment and answer those questions. The only difference here is that there's one extra question about initial observation. Remember, observation is just the first thing that the scientist notices in the situation, okay? And it is literally the first sentence here in this situation, okay? If you have any questions, let me know. If not, you guys are good to complete this. Remember, so this is one of the first assignments we are submitting for content. Remember that when you go to upload this into your assignment, you want to make sure when you're getting the URL, you change it to Charmex Schools. I don't think you have the option with anyone with the link. You might, but either of these would be fine. So Charmex Schools or anyone with the link so that I can see it. If you leave it on this restricted, I can't open it and I can't give you a grade. Okay, so just make sure you change it, copy the link, and then paste it into the assignment.